Hey, if you're watching this on YouTube, I just want to apologize because I messed up the OBS video recording for Discord. So for this one episode, we won't be having any video, even though we are talking about it left and right. So it's a little awkward and a little unfortunate. But I will make sure I fix this all for next time, and we'll be going ahead. Thanks for listening, and enjoy the episode.
We have had a very significant blunder here, and I would like to say that it is not my fault.
It is, 100%.
It's not my fault. We are in an extremely dangerous situation here in this internet scape, in this podcast scape where we are. It's likened to an experience in Dungeons and Dragons, if you will. It's perilous. We need to do checks. There's some traps, some spikes you might fall on. Maybe get your dice,
No,
like I've mentioned before.
Cat at home.
Well, for me, you may not be able to tell, but everything outside of these borders here is just lava destroying everything.
And for our
all the time.
Video or for our audio listeners, Braxton is in a room currently, and he is saying outside of his vision, outside of our vision of the video, is very dangerous, apparently.
It's very spooky. And because of that, I want you to get your dice ready, because we're about to go on a dungeon crawl. Claps. Nobody claps.
Cue the music.
We already did this intro once.
I'm not as hype anymore.
I feel like we're officially a part of a podcasting group now because everybody's got that intro where they actually go, okay, we've done this like 8 times. Let's just fucking do it. Rip the Band-Aid off. Get going. And we've now crossed over that threshold. And we also did a fun thing. We figured it out now. To this side, he's Ryan.
What's up? That's Braxton, and down there
That's
is Kenneth. For our audio, man, why do I keep saying that? For our audio listeners, we're talking about our video. If you want to go check out our video stuff, go to our YouTube channel, and we'll be in the description. You can also just type in the dungeon crawl. We should now come up at least a little bit. If not, then just go to our link and you'll find it down there.
Yeah, looking up the Dungeon Crawl podcast usually brings it up. It's kind of tough to find, as we mentioned before. It's a very popular phrase to have. And yet somehow the channel itself was not taken.
Yeah.
It is on YouTube, though. So big poop. But pretend we had a really fun, genuine, candid intro that you really were laughing at.
I was laughing, chuckling.
It was so good. And everybody's like, Braxton's internet sucks. And here we are. Now I'm on the public Wi-Fi of my building because it's more secure than the one that I pay for. Great. What's going on with you two this week? We're nearing the holidays, right?
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Happy Turkey Day.
Or whatever the heck you celebrate.
Yeah.
Also, I'd like to mention that this is not directed at you.
He's pointing
at
his hat that says "You suck," by the way.
My hat does say "You suck" on it, but it's more of a self-reflecting, so don't take it personally. It's to myself.
So you look at yourself in the mirror wearing that hat, and you just kind of nod your head.
If it's in the mirror, it says "cuss," you know.
Well,
so
it hypes you up.
It does hype me up. I'm like, nah, I don't suck. No one sucks, especially today. But yeah, let's take it back. Have you guys had a good week? Has it been going okay?
Yeah.
Usually, Ryan, you have a story. You don't have any stories this time?
No, I've been taking it easy. I haven't been sleeping that well. I have been playing a lot of World of Warcraft's Shadowlands expansion. So
that's why you're not sleeping well.
Did
man.
it come out today?
No, that was actually before.
Oh, is that why you didn't get sleep?
No, that was before. I haven't been sleeping well. It came out yesterday. Yeah.
Oh shit. Coincidence?
No, it was not before that I couldn't sleep well. All right.
So yeah, if you're following us on social media,
on Christmas,
we delayed this episode because we knew it was going to be a chonky one. We wanted to have Kenneth, and schedules didn't quite line up. So bringing up the elephant in the room. Apologies on that, but it's an exciting one. It's not my fault. I did my work. I was ready.
Your internet dropped out.
Well, that was today when we were ready to record. It didn't happen last night.
Well, how are you, Kenneth?
Yeah.
Since last time you're on the podcast.
Yeah, since last time. Just hanging out, working. Work's been killing me a little bit, but on the not work side of things, last week, played and finished Bugsnax.
You didn't tell me you played it.
Yeah, no, I
say
played
anything
it.
about that.
Yeah, it's very good. It's a very
you play
good
it on
game.
your PC or PS4?
What?
I played it on my
PC?
PS4.
It's on PC?
It's on Windows Store, I think.
It's not an exclusive?
No.
Like, okay, so when I first saw it, I was like, oh, this is gonna be like Pokemon Snap, like take picture of these cute little bugs, catch them or whatever. Bro, it hits you hard in some emotions. Like it gets deep in like the human condition. Yeah. Yeah, bro. And there's also some weird body horror stuff.
Yeah,
like
wait,
so
Bugsnax.
it's not, is it like intentionally kind of uncanny?
A little bit, yeah.
Like Doki Doki kind of
No.
flip? I mean, not that extreme,
really.
but were they intending it to be not this kids? Okay.
Yeah, the developers know. They know, like, it. You can play it as a kid, but, like, a lot of the dialogue...
you physically cannot play it as a kid. If you touch the controller, you just get sucked in like Jumanji and you become
I'm very
one of the
surprised
Bugsnax.
it was like a PS5 launch title.
Right? But it gets into some good emotions, man. Like, stuff about family, about, like, self-quality, stuff like that. Like, it gets into some deep discussions about with the characters. Gameplay's pretty fun. Like, it's puzzling and Bugsnax. All the Bugsnax are cute. They're like Pokemon. They say their own names, like Bunger.
I watched about 30
Bungus?
seconds of a stream, and I just couldn't handle it. I don't know if I could play it. The
so
description that
very
you're
fun.
giving me sounds like something I like, and then I watch, and it's like, I can't handle it.
If you look at the title that we have for this now, you'll notice it is now morphed into Bugsnax Review.
Yes.
We did a little fancy thing. Don't actually look, but I promise you it's changed. But I'm intrigued. I won't play it because I don't have a PS. Well, you can play on PS4,
on
right?
PC.
Yeah, you can play it on PS4. It's not the load times are long on PS4, but like
I've been playing The Pathless. That's been lots of fun.
Yeah, what even is that though?
It's like Journey meets Shadow of the Colossus meets Breath of the Wild meets some other game. I don't know.
Speaking
Sounds
of
good.
games that are a bunch of other things at once, Ryan's face. Genshin Impact is all I've been doing.
Oh god. Yeah.
It
Surprising
doesn't
to
tell you
no
how
one.
long you've been playing it, but I've probably put near 400 hours into the game.
Jeez, man.
But let's avoid
When did you
talking
start-
about
When
that.
did you start that?
September 24th or something.
Wow.
I think is when it came
Nice.
out. I play it every single day. It's very bad. But my time has been consumed by something else this week as well. And I'm a little jaded, a little bitter about it because usually me, you know me, Braxton the Dungeon Girl. Haha. He doesn't know how to read.
Yeah, he's an idiot.
He's so stupid. Things have changed this time because
Learn how to read.
on the 17th of this fine month of November that we are recording this, Tasha's Cauldron of Everything.
What about your books,
which
boys?
You can see it right now if you've got the digital copy or if you've got the fancy
edition.
one. Whenever I see that cover that Kenneth just showed, I imagine the Markiplier thing and goes, this is all I can think about. I stay awake at night thinking about that thing. This is me every time I
nice.
see that cover. But that's been me this week. So we're going to talk today about Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. We've been brewing our thoughts on it, just like she brews all these things.
Knee slapper.
These guys know how to pump me up.
Nah.
So
Did you just to preface this, did you read it just out of pure spite?
I mean,
No, I think Braxton was genuinely excited about it at first.
I love Xanathar's guide, and then this is Xanathar's, and I'll hold off my opinion on the entire book itself.
But to be
Maybe-
fair, when we did our table of contents speculation episode, he was especially harsh when he saw the Fathomless and the Genie as the two subclasses for the Warlock specifically. Is what
there
I'm saying.
may be a trend today. We shall see. I specifically took it upon myself for some godforsaken reason to compare every subclass that has been in Unearthed Arcana to what was released.
Now, did you
in
also?
Tasha's?
I hate to also ask this question. Did you also compare? I assume it probably hasn't changed, but just in case, between ones that were released in like Theros to now.
I don't think I did.
I don't think they changed. I would
think they changed.
I'd highly doubt that they would change them between
Kenneth
two
has-
official sources.
There are some
Yes.
changes.
Yes, Kenneth has the information on that, so we'll be covered when that comes
right.
up from Sword Coast or whatever it is. So we'll be good on
Yeah,
that.
that's an old one though. Makes sense.
Yeah. So every new subclass, and for the Artificer, just the Armorer specialty or whatever it's called, every ability that was there, I highlighted a change that they've done. And you'll see some themes here. I'm not going to talk about syntax that doesn't bring any actual change. They alter all the time, just makes it read better, move stuff around. I'll only be mentioning significant changes to like numbers, dice, or entire yeeting of abilities for new ones, which they have done a lot for some and none for others.
There's one I'm not happy about.
Okay, I think I was happy with almost all the changes they did, except for...
Well, I'm not happy except for your class, of course.
I'm not happy about the existence of the classes for me, except for one of them.
There's one class that I think they still dropped the ball on, for sure.
Yeah, so if it wasn't obvious, today we're going to be going through our thoughts on each class. We're not going to be flat out reading everything, so this will be for people that either already have the book or want a little bit of an understanding of.
Well, we should give our review, our general review right now. So if you want to get the book, we'll tell you if we think it's worth it or not, because I don't want someone who doesn't have the book to listen to the whole podcast to find out, right?
That's a good idea. Okay, I'll go last, actually.
So without saying what we don't like about it, that's kind of hard, I guess. But just saying general, we did this for Icewind Dale, I think, as well, without spoilers and stuff. I will say, get it if you like D&D, because I think the majority of the subclass in here will expand what you already like and maybe make you like a class that you didn't like before. It changed my opinion on a couple classes that I just didn't care for. The DM stuff is very nice, very cool. I think a lot of it's stuff you could already kind of think of yourself, but I like seeing it in official material because it gets people to think outside the box a little bit more. The spells are cool. I wish there were more. I wish it didn't focus on one specific idea. And the magic items I think are great. Cool. I'd say pick it up. Maybe find it on sale somewhere later if you're not super interested, but I'd say you probably should get it if you like D&D.
All right. Review number 1 done. Kenneth, what do you think?
I'd say, again, if you like D&D, if you're a player, definitely get it because it expands on a lot of the just classes, right? And if you're like using a subclass from Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica or Theros, it changes a little bit from those. Nothing major, but it does change. And it has like all the subclasses from all the outside like source books like Theros, Ravnica. It puts those into one book, which I really like. So if you're a player, I'd say definitely get it because it has some really actually cool character concepts. As well as a list of magic items that you can like throw at your DM and be like, hey, like, can I have this maybe? If you're a dungeon master, there's not as much here. Like if you're a forever DM, there's not as much here as for players. Like the whole like half the book is just for the players. But there is good inspiration. Like through magic items. I think the magic items in here are great. There are some good DM tools that, like, if you're not going to use those specifically in the book, it sparks imagination that you could definitely, like, have a template for, right? So I definitely say get it more if you're a player. If you're a DM, maybe still get it if you just like collecting books, but if you're a DM, I'd say maybe use one of your players' books to like flip through it, look at the specific DM stuff.
Take pictures.
Unless like take pictures of it, unless you really like magic items and sidekicks.
I'm gonna just take everything that Kenneth just said and Uno reverse card. If you're a player, don't get it because you can get any one of these subclasses, just the one of it, if you only play a certain subclass off of D&D Beyond and just buy it for like $2. If you're a DM, you, in my opinion, have an obligation to provide this information and content to somebody. So if you have a bunch of players and they want to do this, rather than 8 players having to buy this book or whatever, you own this. Here are the subclasses I have access to and you guys can use. I think DMs should know about new subclasses at the very minimum. And if you're especially a new DM, the Chapter 4 Dungeon Master's tools, I love. I think those are really great to kickstart your brain to think about how to world build and what it's like to be in certain places. So yeah,
I'd
if
say
you're a player,
just get the Dungeon Master's Guide for that.
That's true. True.
This just kind of adds to it, I guess.
Yeah. For me, I think a DM should own any book that's like Xanathars or Tashas.
Maybe just split it with your players.
Yeah. It's true. You can do that. So I definitely like it. I think you can definitely pass on it, though.
Now, how do you think it compares to, if you can only get one, Xanathars or this one?
Xanathars.
I'd say Xanathars. Well, and Xanathars, like, just specifically add stuff. Tasha's adds and changes things. That's
Xanathars has good warlock subclasses. All right, so let's go ahead and let's get out of this little spoiler stuff. We're about to dive into it. So if you don't want to know, you want to get it for yourself, you haven't gotten it yet, get out of here and come.
If you want to know
back,
what we're talking about, you should probably go. Or just pull it up on a, bring up your book and listen through.
Yeah. Press pause, buy on D&D Beyond, read it, come back. We'll wait. Okay, waiting's done. So, I guess we're going to start off with...
Start from the top,
right at the top, we already went through this portion of it on... Actually, not the content itself, but whenever we were doing the table of contents review. It begins with character options. Interesting. What even is this? It even mentions Xanathar's Guide to Everything.
Actually, so it just starts with how to use the book.
Yeah, so it's like, does it start with that? Using this book.
Yeah.
Read it.
It just says everything's optional. You don't have to use this stuff, yada, yada. I do like that it clarifies in there about the bonus action using 2 spells in a turn, because that's never really been clarified in a written material, just in like tweets and stuff from the guys. So I like that they actually included that in the top 10, like rules to know.
I guess it does actually have a bunch of new clarifications in the rules, and it really starts to buckle down on that throughout some of the classes themselves. Because you know how in Unearthed Arcana, every time temp HP showed up, they're like, temp HP does not stack.
Yep.
It gets rid of the last one. Goodbye. Get out of here.
Choose which one you want.
Because it makes sense. Because sometimes they come with features like in Tomb of the Vistus. Those give you a damaging effect. So this is a really cool page. I love that they've got this. And then jumping forward to customizing your origin, I think it gives you some new backgrounds and whatnot. Or
it lets you, basically tells you what you want. If you want to make your own stuff, you want to make your own race. Getting away from the racial bonuses and stuff.
Yeah, the customizing your origins, it says like, if you're a dragonborn and you weren't out adventuring, you were like stuck inside studying like wizard stuff, you can change your +2 to strength and +2 intelligence.
Yeah.
It also gives you rules about like changing languages. Like if you didn't grow up, like you're a gnome and you didn't grow up in like a gnome civilization, you grew up with something else, you wouldn't speak gnomish, you would speak something else.
Right.
It also gives you a way to change proficiencies, like from skill to skill or different armors and weapons, like exchange those out. There's a little table there. Which I really like, because some people, they don't, like, I want to play a tabaxi, but I don't want to, like, have to, like, be, like, a traveling cat merchant, right?
Yeah. You know what I really like, though, that they did is mentioning that you can change your subclass.
Yeah.
Which you mentioned just a little bit. I think that's one of the biggest things that they've mentioned in a long time. It's like, of course you could do that if your team was okay with this, but this
I don't
literally
like
says
the official ruling on it, if I'm being honest with you.
Ooh, is there an official? I literally looked at the subclass.
You have to. It says you have to pay money. It's about time as well. It makes sense to me, to have an official way to do it in game. Yeah. But I would much rather work it out with my players specifically and say, okay, you meet this guy, you're gonna work with him, change your subclass by talking to this guy, maybe pay him a little or do a quest for him. But I hate that it's 100 times per your level and stuff like that.
Well, interesting. Well, given you don't even have to do that, there could be a sudden change.
Yes. Like
it even mentions, like, if you're an Oath of Devotion paladin and, like, your whole town gets destroyed and you weren't there to protect them or something, you pray that night and you change from Oath of Devotion to Oath of Vengeance. Like, it can be, like, a sudden change, like, story-wise, if you would rather do that.
What Ryan did for me, he said, my patron goes, "You fucking suck. Here's another like weapon to try."
Yeah,
and then I got that. So that works.
Because you were telling me you wanted to use something else. I was like, okay, well, it's all about
Warlock
you having
is
fun.
Lackluster. Yeah, which is great. So again, this is like a guideline for you to yeet forward and change your stuff if you want. If not, you're good. You don't have to.
And there's, how do you guys feel about the custom lineage? Because we did like say about like changing your ability scores, and there's the custom lineage, like if you're a child to like a half tabaxi and a half turtle, like there's no real race for you. Like if you want to play your own custom race, it gives you rules for that. It's like you get a feat, you get dark vision or like dark vision or proficiency in one skill, and you get like ability score increase by 2.
I mean, people were doing this really already, but bless you, JD. But this is a way that I guess they could help try to make it more balanced.
Yeah.
Why do you think they decided to take all of these unspoken house rules and actually put them into?
Well, I think this is more of a response to the 2020 sphere of, getting away from racial abilities and racial features and stuff, and being able to customize it entirely to whatever you like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of a card that says, look, you're able to do this stuff regardless of what we release. It's okay to change it. This isn't what everything is.
Yeah, to preface though, the custom lineage does not work. Like, you can't be a half orc and then use the custom lineage stuff. Like, you can't be a half orc to like start with a feat. This is more, the custom lineage is more for like, if there's a race that you want to play that isn't represented well in like the already set races.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's cool. So I like this chapter so far. And then even within chapter 1, it even brings in the subclasses. And officially, for the first
he likes
time,
the chapter till now.
Yeah.
See, so I've spent probably like 4 to 5 hours combing through these things, and I didn't even read all of the stuff that wasn't new. So for Artificer, there's some that I didn't do as deep of a comb into.
I never really looked into Artificers before this, and I think my next character might be an Artificer. I think they're super cool.
Yeah. I agree, and I think it's really interesting because before it's been an Eberron, which was a thing that you had to buy, and you would get a bunch of stuff, a lot of trimmings.
I skipped over an
side
Eberron
dishes.
because I was like, I'm not playing an Eberron. I would just want to use this as like world building ideas.
Yeah. So now here you go. This rounds up a lot of stuff from Eberron and brings it in here, and even adds a new armor class.
Yeah, they even make it more system agnostic in the setting agnostic in the like the descriptions for it. They take out all the Eberron stuff.
They even say something like artificers are in multitudes of worlds in D&D, not just in Eberron. Even in Eberron itself, it says they're in other locations. So it makes sense. It's not just like you're pulling out the Terminator from whatever and you're putting in him 28 days later for some godforsaken reason. something like that. I don't know. But that would be a really interesting film. Can you imagine if he was the main character?
Jesus.
Okay, I mean, where do you guys want to start? How do you want to dissect through these classes? Once we get to armor, I'll take over.
We don't have to talk about that specifically, but the way I broke it down, at least in my notes, is just talk about the class features, and then obviously the other classes, the optional features, then the subclass specifically.
Yeah.
I guess we'll cover the features first. If there's any highlights, anything that stands out for you guys in there.
I don't know. I think for me, I don't have too much an opinion on it. It's a lot of the same of what you've read before. Does Kenneth, do you have any thoughts about it? Do you like it all? Something you don't like it?
You like the Artificer, period?
I do like the Artificer. They added a lot of spells in this book. I say a lot of spells. A lot of like cantrips for the class in this book. I will know once we get to like the actual subclasses instead of just like the overview of the class itself. The one class, the Armorer, that came with this book has a little kind of different theming a little bit than the other ones like Alchemist, Artillerist, and I say theming. It has all the other classes are based off of like your intelligence modifier, while the Armorer is based off of proficiency bonus, which is you'll see a theme throughout the whole book about proficiency.
Kenneth and I were chatting about that again. A lot of the changes are that way too. So I guess let's just go right off the bat and jump into, if we're doing this one by one, I mean, Alchemist starts off.
Features. Hold on, you're jumping ahead, man. The features. The features. I love the magical tinkering thing. I was reading that and come up with ideas for like, you could use this as like a message of a dead loved one that said something to you, and you just keep playing it over and over in your little ear. And just cry every time like a voicemail. And yeah, because I don't know if artificers are always like this, but I didn't know they craft magic items. That is so cool to me. And also dangerous as a DM, because let's say you want to make a low magic campaign, and then you got an artificer who's just making it magic items and passing them out to everybody. That's cool, but it's something to keep in mind.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
and they're not like making swords of power and everything. They're just like goggles of night, boots of striding and springing, useful items, but nothing like breaks the bank.
I didn't realize that they can attune to like ridiculous number of items, but I guess that's kind of the whole point of an artificer. They don't really get much else.
Yeah, I think a lot of people thought these guys were a little too strong. sometimes.
I mean,
So
if you're DM giving them lots of magic items, and they attune to everything, then they'll definitely be really strong.
They just don't really have any offensive spells. All their spells are mostly support spells.
Yeah.
That's fun though. I like that.
Yeah, I like it.
All right. Subclass.
Some classy boys. Okay.
Alchemist.
I guess let me jump over specialists. They're called specialists in this, correct?
They're called artificer specialists, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So a little difference in nomenclature here. Tasha's like the magic of both alchemists. For the first one up here, and witches relies on powerful multiversal truth. Mortals can't resist anything with bubbles.
I love Tasha's stuff throughout this.
Tasha's blurbs are very good.
She's got little blurbs on everything. So whoever wrote these, bravo to you. They're super entertaining.
Yeah, it gives me ideas just for like what NPCs might think of different of these classes.
Yeah. All right. What do you guys feel about alchemist?
I think it's cool. It's like a healing and life sucking kind of class. It's like a warlock from World of Warcraft. It's very cool without the summoning.
Did you say the W word in front of me?
I think the experimental elixir could be really cool. Something to do every night and then adapt to it in the middle of a
I love
setting.
nightly stuff.
Yeah.
It's so fun. Because sometimes you just don't warlock problems. Sometimes you just don't use your spell slots. So
and they become health potions with cool effects, and that's always fun random stuff.
If you're in our campaign, health potions are hard to come by, and they're expensive. So this guy would be really nice.
Yeah, I think the alchemist out of all of these is the like support, is like the healer subclass for artificer. It's very good. Yeah, it's very flavorful as well.
Well, the battlesmith also is very support heavy too.
A lot of them can do some support.
This reminds me of like, you think about a lot of the other subclasses. This is specifically, I think, a type of D&D class that's not really shown for like a potion maker kind of guy.
Yeah.
I like it.
No, absolutely.
And this is also one of the classes where like your subclass really determines like how you play your character.
Yeah, for sure.
And how they fit into the party too, because you just hand out these elixirs every night. All right, drink this whenever you want to. Tell me what happens.
Yeah.
So something I always have like points of contingency with Ryan on is the ultimate form of these classes. He's like, the ultimate, basically. So do you guys feel like this is a worthy 15th level alchemist feature, the chemical mastery? You expose so many chemicals.
Greater restoration and the heal is pretty huge without expending a spell slot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but immune to the poison condition is also very good. Immune to any condition.
I know Braxton hates poison condition.
It happens enough. I'm used to it now, but it still does suck. It really does suck. Yeah, I feel like this guy really has a solid place and a lot of tools in their possession. They're literally somebody that just creates tools. So I would be disappointed if it wasn't. So
I wish though. I wish the elixir had more of a table than a D6, because you're gonna hit that very quickly. All those, and you're like, okay, whatever,
Yeah. So some scaling issues here.
There is some scaling issues, but this might be the most flavorful of the subclasses for Artificer.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in my opinion, I think it might be one of the weaker or if not the weakest subclass for Artificer.
Yeah, in at least I would say in combat for sure.
Yeah. You should
eating
potions at people.
Because the other ones get like stuff to use melee weapons and other, ranged weapons, but this guy, he is the potion maker.
The reason I like it too, like you said earlier, there's a lot of RP stuff that could go on here. Like people that make potions are always kind of colorful or weird or wacky,
Yeah.
Just my only problem with it is that I was looking, the experimental elixirs, they don't scale. Like, yes, you can make more of them, but they just don't scale at all.
Anytime I see something
you get the 2d6 health, 2d6 plus your intelligence modifier health potion, but that's about it. That's 9th level.
I want to know what had them decide if an ability was going to be an intelligence modifier or an ability score modifier or a proficiency bonus, because they've altered a lot of that. So if you guys have any thoughts later on down the line, I want to hear why you think they balanced that. Me and Kenneth were talking about that. But yeah, for Artificer, Alchemist, I don't think I'd play it. I would love to play with one.
Yeah.
Basically.
That's a good way to say it, yeah.
Yeah, so the next one up is Armor, which is a new one. This is the only brand new one for Tasha's itself. And I really like this one.
I don't understand why this guy doesn't get the shield spell.
Yeah,
doesn't make any sense to me.
I was talking about that with Braxton. Yeah, because the all these classes have their own spells that they get, and the first level, the classes that are the spells that you get with this class or the subclass is like Magic Missile and Thunder Wave for right when you get it.
His name is the Armor, and he gets Magic Missile and Thunder Wave.
You want to be upset though, Ryan?
What?
In Unearthed Arcana, they did.
I know.
Shield.
They did. Yeah, I know that. It doesn't make any sense why they would take it out, and they gave it to a different Artificer subclass.
Yeah, they gave it to the Artillerist, if I'm
you're
not
correct.
mistaken.
He was doing too much protecting.
Yeah, in my notes I said for the Artillerist, let's give this one shield, sure.
Which I flavor-wise, it doesn't make sense, but I get it for balancing because like you already have a lot of AC as the Armorer, so you don't really need shield. While as the Artillerist, I don't think they get a armor proficiency.
The DMs can adapt to that because I had in our first campaign, I had a Turtle Monk, and his AC was like 21 at like level 6. It was ridiculous.
To me, that's almost game breaking. So for the abilities here for the 3rd level one, the only changes they made to it was now they've put in flavor that as a bonus action you can deploy or pull back the helmet, and you can don and doff the armor as a full action. So that's something they added into it for that one, as well as for defensive field, they added to a amount of times that you can use it, which is equal to the number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and then refresh on a long rest. That's a lot of changes they brought in. So they made that have limited use.
Do you know when this was in Unearthed Arcana? Was this in like the big something in the last year and a half?
I didn't put up the dates there, but I think it was all of the changes were within a year.
Okay,
they're all
from
2019 to 2020. Yeah, and then they I think changed dampening field from second skin to dampening field, and that's all the changes that was there. Actually, no, they didn't. Second sin was removed entirely.
I don't know what that is then.
The armor's weight is negligible and becomes form-fitting for the wearer under clothing. If the armor normally imposes disadvantage on dexterity self checks, the power armor does not. So
and what did they? That was one of
it.
the models you could have.
Yes, modules, and they changed it to dampening field. You gain advantage on dexterity self checks. Armor normally imposes disadvantage on sub checks.
Okay.
Advantage, disadvantage cancel each other.
I'm down with that.
Yeah. And then for Guardian, they added the limit for the proficiency bonus.
Yeah.
And changed it so that it doesn't go with your intelligence modifier. So now this is one of those that they swap from intelligence modifier for your maximum uses, or how it affects the thing, but now it's proficiency bonus. You see this a lot, and I don't know why they decided to. I
guess because it scales better.
Well, your proficiency bonus gets how high?
6.
Yeah,
it's one more use. But I think,
but it goes up quicker than I'd say your intelligence modifier would, unless you're specifically focusing on it.
Yeah. So Kenneth and I were talking about it, and it's like you can either start out the gate with maximum uses, or you can use proficiency bonus and have more in the long run. But it starts
probably makes it. I think it'd be more rewarding at like ability score level to instead say, okay, I have to upgrade my intelligence modifier, or I can get a fun feat that might also do it, or might not. I think it just opens up more doors.
I can see that as well, yeah. So you're not trying to just boost your intelligence up so you can get like maximum uses.
Yeah, I particularly like the Guardian feature as well, where you can.
I was gonna ask you guys which, because you get a lot at 3rd level with this thing. You get heavy armor proficiency and proficiency with Smith's tools. You get the spells. You get the arcane armor,
and then you subclass.
Yeah, no. And then you get the armor model, which is Guardian or Infiltrator. And I was going to ask you guys, which one do you like more, the Guardian or the Infiltrator?
I
think Guardian. Yeah, I think Infiltrator's fairly useless.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
I think it's Guardian's going to be the one you're going to want to have on for almost everything.
Yeah.
So. Infiltrator's a lot more situation specific.
Yeah. Which I get, yeah. I do like. I don't know if this was in there or not for Unearthed Arcana. I do like that you do add your modifier to the damage rolls now.
I think it was in that before.
Okay, I wasn't sure if it was in because a D8 plus your mod is just punching people.
They give a lot more classes that ability to roll dice and add ability modifiers to it. It's not just like a warlock thing anymore for invocations and whatnot. But yeah, I really like this subclass. I would probably play it. I like protecting things and getting reactions off of stuff.
I'm not a tank guy, so this one this is not my style.
It depends on the game for me.
I do like that the armor modifications. It actually like you can apply the infusions that you get as an artificer to like different pieces of your armor and more of them, which I really like. It really conjures up imagery of like you in the shop just like working on your armor, like trying to upgrade it and everything.
Well, it's the way they kind of built it in with the Hexblade too, where they made it they made it work where if you get a magic item, you don't just replace your weapon, right? You can connect it together.
Turn it into it. It's really cool.
It's very good.
Yeah, I'd play as this guy.
Yeah, this is. It's pretty fun. It's very. It's not to beat around the bush. It's very Iron Man.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
If you want to be Iron Man, this is what you want to be.
Quick note: we are 35 minutes into this. Let's start going. So for artillerist, I mean, I would make multitudes of episodes on this if we. I mean, we could. We'll see how this goes.
Artillerist is my favorite of these guys.
Yeah. Take us through it then.
I hate that it gets shield. I mean, I don't hate it, but I hate that the other one doesn't get shield.
I mean, it makes sense, but like flavor wise, I don't like it.
But I love the cannon thing. Being able to customize it, create it, where you want it to look. If you want it to be like a little cannon next to you, if you want to. This feels like the gunmaster class that I've always wanted the hunter to have, but they're making it into like a artillerist kind of thing.
How did I miss this? It's a fucking Eldritch Cannon. When did I miss that nomenclature?
It's not really into the lore of it too much.
Why is it? Why did they do that?
And it also scales well too. Like it adds 2d8 later on. I'm pretty sure.
God, I'd hope so. If you're sticking with the cannon the entire time, Jesus.
Well, you get to use it. Like if you use it as a one next to you, you can have your own weapon and have it shoot things next to you.
Yeah.
That's really fun.
Yeah, but it uses your bonus action a lot, and that's what I've seen with all these artificer ones that they tend to use your bonus action a lot, which I like.
Yeah, increased by D8, 9th level. Nice.
Artillerist is very like blow stuff up, but also kind of help your party. Like if you want to use the Protector Eldritch Cannon, it can like give them temp HP. I think.
Yeah, they've not had a gun focus class, and this isn't really. I mean, this is really a gun, but it is right.
It is. It's a wand with runes on it that you can like shoot. Like it's a gun.
Yeah, they mentioned at some point for another subclass or within this one itself that
Yeah, it's for the and
gunpowder exists.
It's a feat, I think maybe.
Yeah. So
this is. I'd say this is definitely more like the more spell focused like damage one. I'd say.
I like this guy.
I like the flavor. I don't know if I would play as it, but I think it's a really, really cool guy. A lot of fun characters are kind of like the ragtag. Like I have this cool ass cannon. I would love to see that.
This is what I would like a hunter class. Sorry, ranger class, whatever the hell they're called in D&D.
Blunderbuss.
Some funny stuff about the ranger class that they have in here.
Don't get me. We're not there yet.
Are they rangers in those classes? Or are they mainly? What's going on? I don't know. Okay, yeah, I like this guy. But Battlesmith.
Battlesmith is very fun.
Yeah? What do you think about it, Kenneth?
I think it's more as a kind of paladin-y artificer.
This guy got shield too.
Yeah.
It did.
He has shield, heroes, and branding smite. A lot of smites, a lot of like fire shields. You're kind of helping your teammates as well with your steel defender, which can look like a panther or a bear or anything like that.
It's also like
it can
a ranger,
be offense and it's metal ranger. It can just defend your party. It can attack with your party. I think it's very viable because you add your intelligence modifier to your like melee, like your melee hits.
Yeah.
Instead of like strength or dex, which really helps the class out a lot. If you don't need to focus on like strength or dex, you can just focus on intelligence.
I'd love to see what people like create as their defender, what it looks like, and how it works with their.
And it
RP.
Can heal itself.
Yeah.
And whatnot. It can deflect it. Like it's very, very useful. I really like that.
This is the Beastmaster I always wanted.
A lot of the fact that they're making a lot of these companions into scalable people.
Yeah, they're definitely learning from their mistakes.
Oh yeah, and I don't know why those mistakes were ever made before, but hey, if they're working on it now, thank you, good job.
This, I say, if you need, like, if your party needs like a needs or wants like a more another martial in the party, like if you only have like one fighter, and you have like a kind of smaller party, I'd say this would help fill out that role.
Yeah.
Just with the steel.
Hell, you could probably do like a one-on-one DM and player with this, just to have like the close-up thing, maybe buff up the guy of the defender if you need to.
Can I say I love the pictures that they've done for a lot of these classes? There's a little gnome dude
guy,
with purple
yeah.
hair, and he's got this massive bear that looks like if you punched it lightly, your fist would just break.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
They're
looking.
very good.
Something odd though is a lot of these pictures are tieflings. A lot of them are tieflings. You'll notice. I'll mention. Oh yeah, especially when you get down. I'll point it out.
Brax is gonna make sure he points at every tiefling.
I'll make sure you know
Yeah.
that there are tieflings.
Every mention
I like
of
this
warlock and every mention of tiefling is gonna make sure. Listen to Dungeon Crawl.
It's gonna be an entire episode just in that part. So yeah, cool beans. And then there's the infusions, which honestly I kind of lost my interest, but they're powerful. They're really cool. Did any of them like stick out to you guys?
I like the repeating one for like crossbows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah. Yeah. So I think if you're interested in Artificer, definitely buy it off of D&D Beyond as a bit of it, or you're probably going to find something else you like down the line here, considering this is a new class. Maybe.
Yeah, I'd recommend buying this over Eberron if you want Artificer stuff.
Oh yeah, and they added more too, so you're getting a little bit more bang for your buck. It's more of what you want. The homunculus service one sounds so cool too. But next up, we got Barbarian, and contender for probably one of my favorite subclasses in this entire book.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This one is so cool to me. Starting right off, I guess we need to do the class features first. Hold on, Brax.
Yeah, we gotta do those optional class features.
Okay. So they, again, with these class features, you can either did they say you can have modularity where you can pick one, or if you pick one of these from Tasha's, you have to go with all of them?
No, it's
could-
optional, all optional stuff.
Interesting.
The
Because
Ranger's
before-
the only one that says replaces another feature, as far as I'm aware.
Well, oh, so most of these just come in and
Yeah.
they don't remove? Wow.
Yeah.
That's not how it was before. That's awesome. Can I have it as a warlock, Brian? There's some nice ones.
What, this one? The Barbarian?
No, not. We'll see when we get the class features to the warlock. Of course, I read that.
That's going to happen next episode, that's right.
We'll see. We'll keep going. Okay, so yeah, class features. You get cool stuff like primal knowledge, 3rd level, and at 10th, you gain proficiency in a skill of your choice, and you get a bonus action.
Yeah, Pounce
as
seems
part of
like
it.
that's what you use at the beginning of every combat.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it gives you like another movement thing, and then
Just
you got
get up
primal
close and
paths.
personal.
Which one's the first one? Origin of the Beast, Form of the Beast. It's cool. Beast
Path
path.
of the Beast, none of those
Primal
were the right
paths.
subclass, but yeah.
Path of the Beast. This one, Kenneth and I were gushing about it earlier. This is
Very-
like, I don't know if you want to call it a werewolf, but it allows you when you rage to turn it
Kind
into
of is, yeah.
yeah, like a feral, really strong beast with a different melee attack of your choice. You can use claw, which is just like double DPS. You can attack twice. Bite, which lets you heal, which they did nerf actually. You used to be able to heal all of your HP. Now it's only half. So if you're at
Makes
half
sense.
to HP or lower, you can heal, which is interesting. They also, I think, reduced the damage of bite. Did they? No. They
No,
just
I
changed
think
that.
Bite was all yeah.
They reduced the damage of tail from 1d2 to 1d8, but they added from Unearthed Arcana, if a creature you can see within 10 feet hits you with an attack, you can use your reaction to swipe your tail, roll a d8, apply bonus AC equal to the number rolled, potentially causing it to miss you. Every time you rage, there's no limit on this. You can raise your, while you're raging. So
your
that's
amount of rage that you have, yeah.
Yeah. But this is really cool to me. I love
Yeah, this is my
that
favorite Barbarian class or subclass.
this
of anything ever.
I think a lot of people are going to start playing this instead of the bear barbarian.
Yes.
That like gives you resistance to,
Barbarian. Okay.
I think this, to me at least, this makes me excited to play Barbarian. I already was excited to play Barbarian, but this is just so flavorful and like cool.
It just
like,
adds a
getting to use
lot
re-
more interesting
like-
decisions to make as a Barbarian. When before it's like run up, hit. Now it's like, okay, which one do I want to use?
Yeah.
And also like having for the tail, having just a reaction to do each turn is so good to add to your AC.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I wrote this
it's very
somewhere
good.
later down the line, but I love making it more magic-y to have things, interactions happening on other people's turns. So people are paying attention instead of, not my turn, I'm going to scroll through my phone or something.
Okay, so the thing I want to like make sure that we mentioned here is they removed a big chunk of the 14th level feature called the Hunt. So it used to be until your rage ends, the chosen creatures that you pick gain reckless attack. They gain that feature, and you have advantage on saving throws against being frightened. That's gone. They removed that. They also changed it from Constitution mod to proficiency bonus. But what they brought in as a replacement is the creature. Whenever the creature hits a target with an attack roll that you're buffing currently with that feature, the deals damage to it, the creature can roll a d6 and gain a bonus to the damage equal to the number rolled. Really brought that one back down. That's all my thoughts on the
really powerful before.
I really would love to play this class. But next we've got Path of Wild Magic, which, again, this Wood Elf Barbarian of Wild Magic is like this shirtless guy with a long claymore-looking thing, and he's wearing like this frilly circus skirt, and it's one of the coolest little depictions ever. It looks very fey. Thoughts on this guy?
Yeah, I mean, if you want randomness and like magic,
we talked about this in Unearthed Arcana, but it's cool to have a more magic-focused barbarian.
Yeah. So like if you want like to play a sorcerer, but like be a wild magic sorcerer, but not really deal with spells or anything, you just want to hit stuff, this is what you want to do.
So they changed a lot, though. So for Lingering Magic, you used to be able to cast the Detect Magic spell, and it also made you faintly glow color corresponding to the school's magic. They removed that, but gave you a stronger Detect Magic version, essentially, and you no longer glow. You just know what it does. And they also really changed up the Wild Surge stuff. They entirely removed in the old one the 6th and the 7th and the 4th one.
Yeah, entirely. I don't know what it was about this specific Unearthed Arcana, but I remember this original class way more than the others. I was going through it. This is a lot different. This is very different. Yeah,
so they entirely removed 3 things from the Wild Surge effect and added 4, 5, and 6 here. It's a lot of changes. If you want to go check out both of them. But those are key things for you to look at. Really, really, really changed them. But I like them ultimately what they did.
I think it's ultimately lacking, honestly. Because just like with the Artificer, it relies one of the Artificer classes relies too heavily on that wild magic table, and it follows with that the whole way through, and it's only a D8. While if you go to the Sorcerer wild magic table, it's like a D100.
Well, the biggest thing they did is they got rid of Arcane Rebuke and Chaotic Fury, which whenever you got, I think, whenever you're forced to make a saving throw, you deal damage to them, and then Chaotic Fury was as a bonus action. You can re-roll one of your Wild Surge, but they essentially just made it to where at level 14 you can roll twice.
Yeah, I think that's a terrible 14th level final ability.
Yeah, no,
because the wild magic stuff's not that. Some of it's cool, some of it's very strong, but it's nothing like that would vastly make me want to pick this class.
Yeah. So it's alright.
Why would you pick this one over the Beast one? In my opinion,
if you want wild magic stuff, just pick the Sorcerer, because that's really the crazy magic stuff.
Sorcerer's got the best subclasses.
Also, this is like they use a D3 in one of their abilities.
Yeah,
which is
I think
weird.
They mentioned somewhere you're supposed to use a D6 for 1 to 2, and it's like
So barbarians, you got one of the cool subclasses and one of the most lackluster subclasses, basically.
But for barbarian had pretty lackluster stuff before, so so that means they're sticking with the trend except for one class.
Careful there, they might rage on you, Ryan. They know where you live.
I always thought barbarian had cool subclasses, but that's just me. I just like barbarian.
I'm just not a fan of it.
I would feel, as a barbarian in general, I would just kind of feel like, well, I'm not raging right now, so I'm like half as efficient. But
it's what combats. You always want to rage in combat. That's the point.
Yeah.
Okay. Just the beast just makes me want to just drop everything and play barbarian. That one.
So moving on to the Bard, the third of many subclasses here, classes in general here. The optional features are cool. The reason I was skipping over the features in the beginning is because it's going to take a lot of time. But I think the majority.
If there's anything that sparks your interest.
Not in particular here. I mean,
I just like there's more stuff for bardic inspiration.
Yes, they really need to work on that too.
You can do it to damage now instead of just to hit, which I like.
Yeah. So moving to the College of Creation, which is a new subclass that you've seen from Unearthed Arcana before. They changed some of the wording, but that's about it, I believe. Everything else is generally the same. They decided to keep it fairly similar. I think they thought this was really balanced in general.
I love the lore on it.
I
want to add a creation song stuff into my world now too. I think it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's really, really fun. I love the flavor about it. And it's not this is the one that's talking about like stories Eloquence is stories. Creation itself was fabricating things.
Yeah, this is creating stuff because you have the creation song and you can build things from scratch.
It's like, to me, that flavor seems like an immensely powerful character itself, which is with your words, you can instill life into things. Which kind of reminds me from what's it called? Black Clover, one of the main bosses in there, is able to speak things into existence. They're one of the strongest things, but it's really insanely cool. But in terms of changes, they didn't really do too much. Endless Waltz from Unearthed Arcana, immediately after the item takes Slam Attack, which is your dancing item, they removed that and made Impressionable Dance. Creative Crescendo is, I believe, entirely new. I think, or they just moved where it used to be. Yeah, that's what it was. And then Performance of Creation was removed from what they had before.
Performance of Creation seems really weird to me. It seemed like it's just very situational, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
the subclass just doesn't excite me.
Does it rustle your jimmies at all?
No. The lore does, but everything else is like,
I had fun reading it, but yeah, I guess it is kind of lackluster. Especially the item just seemed a little bit weak. Like, I don't know what you're really going to be doing this entire time. Maybe a lot of the stuff in the original Bard carries it, but I'm not sure. But the one that I liked a good bit, and they changed, I'm not kidding, they changed this one a lot, is the College of Eloquence. Before, they had it as a damage dealer, and they tried really hard in the Unearthed Arcana to make this guy do damage and control the battlefield. They got rid of anything that was just straight up doing damage from Unearthed Arcana and made it more out of combat-y. Which
I don't. Yeah, this got printed in Theros. I don't think they changed anything from Theros though.
Oh, really? So yeah, if you have Theros, same guy. But from Unearthed Arcana, they changed universal speech and removed the 4 10 minutes, and I think they made it for an hour, which is like okay, that's a big jump. And they changed the advantage on charisma checks made to influence them. So a lot of interesting things happened there. They
it's a lot of RP focused stuff out of combat.
They entirely removed soothing words and undeniable logic from Unearthed Arcana as well.
This is the bard that if you want to argue and if you want to like debate, this is like the Greek bard. This is like the philosophical bard. Yeah. This is like a very bardic bard.
A very bardic bard. But yeah, I really like that they stopped trying to make it into a damage dealer and just brought it back to what bards are. People that have a lot of control over the battlefield itself, which is a lot more fun.
Yeah, that's very true.
I'd probably play him. And then Infectious Inspiration, they removed when a creature adds one of your Bardic Inspiration die to its ability check, attack roll saving throw, can keep the Bardic Inspiration die. They brought that into a different manner in a different part of the subclass.
I don't think I'd play either of these bards.
Really?
I've been interested in bards in the past, but neither of these excite me.
I like the Eloquence one.
I don't think I'd play it, but it is my favorite of a lot of the bard subclasses before, because I kind of, like, if I were to play a bard, I can't sing. I can play instruments, but I can't do it live, you know? Yeah. So it would be tough for me. Overall, bards, you got some cool new features, but nothing that I would say, jump straight on.
Bring in the biggest theme, this bard section, bring in the biggest theme of this whole book to me, summoning stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. They really started.
Yeah, we'll be talking about summoning the whole episode.
I mean, do you have any idea why they wanted to do that? Why they're starting to bring in?
Well, summoning wasn't ever really had important stuff to it before, and wasn't like I told you. I want to start using this specific summoning ruling for whenever people summon old spells where it takes place right after your turn. It's a lot easier to manage. I think they just wanted to address that type of stuff. Like
playing a druid in a campaign, you want to summon stuff because it's very good. Like, you want more action economy on your side and everything. But the fact is, it just slows the game down so much. The summoning spells in here are
without saying too much, Braxton, we've had multiple players in my D&D game that have come to me saying they want to take these new summoning spells. And every time I said, okay, well, this person has this one, this person has this one. If you really want it, you can have it. Just be aware, it'll probably start slowing stuff down with the amount of summoning we got going on now.
I think some of us can handle summoning things in the game. One of us has been doing it for a bit, so they know how to do it. Mine is too good for my class to not do it.
My one worry with summoning, summoning does, I guess we'll address summoning now. We could do it in spells later, but my one worry with the amount of summoning stuff that is now in printed material in the spell section is it's good for action economy. It's going to make things easier for higher levels of play, if you want to introduce that earlier. But the problem then is slowing down combat, having so many things going on the battlefield at one time. It can start bogging stuff down at earlier levels when it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Well, would you rather have these spells or like conjure animals or conjure elementals when like you summon like 8 things or like 4 things instead of
Neither.
just one creature? Yeah, and that's the kicker for summoning it. They are strong because you're just adding another thing to the battlefield.
In any game I play, I like to summon, so I'm glad that Ryan let me do it.
Yeah.
It's like one of my things. I have a lot of things that I always do in every game. So, on to cleric review.
I like clerics.
I was very happy with these.
I love these.
Yeah.
I love
White
These are
Frank.
very good.
Also, did clerics not get power word heal at 9th level before? Did they
I
not
don't think
get
so.
No, they
I
don't.
think all the power words are usually for bards and wizards.
I guess that makes sense, but I'm glad they gave it to him here. That's something new that they added into a bunch of other spells as well that just kind of seem like, makes sense.
Yeah, they got auras now too that paladins only usually had. They have like the vitality aura, life aura, and purity aura,
Now,
which are very good.
maybe I should reel back my enthusiasm, because if you take my warlock shit, I'll get upset. But spells?
Just wait till we get to the feats.
Oh, God.
So
for the order domain, I think I really, really liked this dude. But to begin off, for some reason, they got rid of enhance ability and gave them Zone of Truth. Cool.
Yeah,
Okay, I
check
don't know why they
powered
changed that.
heal was originally only a bard spell.
Interesting. Okay. And then for this guy as well, it's all about like balance and telling people to do things essentially, which is really cool to me. Law and whatnot, you might have some sort of officer dude play as this character.
I love that gives you the tells you the deities that you could.
yeah, I really
certain
like that
settings.
as well.
I thought that was really cool as well.
Also, the order one was also from Ravnica. I'm pretty
it?
sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
We talked about that in our table of contents.
Yeah, and they also gave you the bonus proficiency in intimidation and persuasion at first level, which is really cool. That wasn't in the Unearthed Arcana previously.
It's my favorite version of a melee kind of cleric for sure.
Yeah, that's the reason I would play it, is because they're really getting in there. Like, including me, a lot of people have thought that generally clerics don't do damage, but they
Yeah,
get
do
some
you know
highest
you'd want to
damage
go
in
for
the
a
game.
paladin if you want to do what this guy's doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's his weapon looks so cool. It's a dragonborn cleric of Order, and he's got like this weird like plus spade thing that you just whack people with. I don't know
His
what's
shield
going
is
on there.
also just like a sheriff star. Like, it's
Yeah.
great.
There's some really cool stuff about like charming people, control, becoming the embodiment of law. They altered stuff, making it a bonus action rather than I think it was a full action before. I'm not sure. And it used to only be for the embodiment of law itself. You can cast a spell of an enchantment school using a spell slot of first level. That used to be second level or higher. So they just made it flat out good.
Nice.
At least a little better myself. But I really enjoyed this guy. Like a lot.
That embodiment of law actually might be why they added in the bonus action spell rule at the beginning.
Probably, yeah.
What was that again?
Just it's
You can
explained.
only-
You can go, Kenneth. You got it.
Sorry. You can only like cast one spell a turn is basically what it says. Like, if you cast a bonus action spell, you have to use like your action to do something else,
Yeah,
like
it says
attack
a
or
cantrip or
use
something,
a
yeah.
cantrip. Yeah.
I guess it makes sense, but why are you limiting us, Watsy? Stop.
Balance, man. Balance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Balance. Throw balance out the window. This is a
Before we get into these Peace and Twilight domains, I just want to get a precursor. Which one do you like more between the Peace and the Twilight clerics?
Twilight.
Think? Really?
Twilight's my shit, dude.
Yeah, dude, Twilight's really fucking cool. You can't really
I prefer
beat
the
it.
Peace. I prefer the Peace myself, but
Boring.
I think
over
it's
that.
I think it's very strong, but it bores me.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
I could see that. Yeah.
Twilight Domain, that oozes everything I love.
All right, so let's jump into the piece, dude. So why is it boring, Ryan? Why don't you like this guy?
Standard, chill. He's all about peace, man. He has smoked a couple doobies. He's peacing
Yeah.
out with everybody.
He's just chilling. I mean,
I mean, it's like I said, it's strong. I think it does good stuff. It just lore-wise doesn't do anything for me.
yeah,
Which I get. Like, it basically has bless, like super bless, in its channel divinity. I like that you can make a bond between you and like your compatriots to like teleport, like change places and stuff like that. I just really like the flavoring of it, but yeah, it's a very cleric-y like cleric. It's very like
it's a cleric, yeah.
yeah. It's peace. Like, you
Peace and
do
love,
have
baby.
roleplay outside of combat with it though. Like, it says that you can like be an ambassador for like war,
Sure.
like wars to like try and make peace, or stuff like that. And that's what I like about this flavoring of it. Like, sometimes you do have to cause violence for there to be peace. Like, I do like that. For the
You're just a hypocrite.
I do think, I will concede that the Twilight Domain is cooler. I think it's cooler. I do like the peace one better, though. Nope.
You can't argue with me, man.
If I didn't make an artificer, I'd make a Twilight Cleric.
Well, to say, like, for some reason, they entirely removed the Enduring Unity thing from before and, like, spread the effects you got from it from an Unearthed Arcana. It was allowing the creature to have advantage on attack rolls, ability checks, saving throws, a bunch of other stuff, and they, like, sprinkled it throughout everything, and then gave you Expansive Bond itself, which allows you to emboldening and protective bond, make them stronger. So I think ultimately the changes they brought from Unearthed Arcana were quality of life and more scalability, which is really cool. I wouldn't play it as it, but what I would play is Twilight Domain, guys.
Yeah,
he's cool. He's a cool guy. I'm fun with.
I almost thought about Braxton changing my character in the live play to this.
I thought the same thing, actually. So I mean, are you?
No, I like what I got.
Think about it. I will have some fun with this guy. So go ahead. There's some stuff that they changed. So this guy's all about the shadows, Twilight, the spoopy, creepy stuff, being able to do stuff in dim light. It's really fun.
A man can see dark vision 300 feet.
Yeah, that's really good.
Something it said before. I don't know why they changed that before. Previously, it had no maximum range on that, which I think you could have ruled that you can see all the way around you. Like you have eyes everywhere. You could rule it that way versus having a range of 300 feet. I don't know. We'll see. It was weird to me. And before it was only 10 minutes. This is an hour. They made it an hour.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can give it to people.
Yeah. Like, excuse me.
And humans can finally see in the dungeon with you.
Yeah, right. They also gave you martial weapons and heavy armor, which is always good.
That is always super spicy. And then the level 17 thing, the Twilight that you summon, offers a protective embrace. Your allies have half cover while in the sphere you created. Was like, okay.
Yeah, think about it. If you have a heavy dude in there that already has a high AC.
Yeah.
Why do you think they removed invisibility from the class and just gave them C invisibility? That's something they did.
I couldn't tell you.
They have greater invisibility, so I couldn't tell you why the regular invisibility is not in there. To make you choose if you want to be invisible or not. To be fair, it is weird to me that they do have heavy armor proficiency, because doesn't like every heavy armor give you disadvantage on stealth checks?
Yeah.
That's a little. However,
this also doesn't strike me as the guy that wants to be up close and personal. So.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's up close and personal because like you want people to be in like your radius.
Yeah.
But
also, arguably one of the coolest portraits of the subclass itself is in here. This looks like it's on a tarot card or something.
I want that to be my phone background.
Amazing. It's this really cool looking cleric person with like a background of the sun and some constellation or the stars.
What Tasha says on it is one of my favorite lines, where she said, I can't believe I'm writing this, but I think I could get behind a faith focused on mood lighting and evening wear. Ain't that the truth?
It's very good.
That'd be super hilarious.
Also, just at level 1, you can just give yourself or another party member advantage on initiative.
Yeah.
Like no limit. You can just do that.
Yeah.
Until you cast it again, but
it's all right. And they, like we said before, they give you example deities too, and a lot of the Forgotten Realms gods are in there. Fancy. So that's actually it for the good old cleric, though. Time for the druid, which I think Kenneth has a lot of opinions on.
I do. I think the druid might have gotten the best makeover in Tasha's. It might be the class that got the most stuff out of it. Yeah. Like they have Revivify now as a 3rd level spell. They have Summon Fae. They have Cone of Cold, which is just give druids more offensive spells and I'll be happy. So Cone of Cold, the summon spells are always good. Elemental Weapon. Also, I love the fact that they're making it more use for wild, not wild magic,
wild shape?
But wild shape. You can like use it to use one of them just to summon, cast Find Familiar, which I love. That's very good.
Do you think And I guess we're skipping past the class features again, but feel free to
Well,
stop
you
me
can
if
mention
you
one
want.
for the familiar stuff.
You get those spells, and you get the cantrip versatility, which they did change from UA. It used to be
Yes.
like every time you level up, you can change it, and now it's every time you can increase your ability score, you can change a cantrip.
Yeah, that's
a big
for a
fan of
lot of
that.
the ones they added. Well, I think
Yeah.
it was better before in the UA, but whatever.
Yeah, me too.
A lot of things are better in the UA.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
I would
kinda
even say it was
think-
balanced in the UA. I don't understand why not to let classes do that.
I don't know, because like Artificer they're like the only class really that can change like their cantrips a lot.
It's
Maybe they didn't want to step on the toes.
Actually nerfed what they had in UA for the Warlock. We'll show. We'll talk
I
about
nerfed a lot of stuff that they had in the UA.
They demolished the Warlock subclasses. We'll get there.
It was pretty strong in the UA.
It's too strong in the UA. But they just demolished it. So honestly, for the first subclass here for the Twilight Domain, wait, am I in there?
You mean Class of Spores?
Circle
Class
of
of
Spores.
Circle of Stars. Is that not the first one? The Spores actually didn't have. So let me get back to Spores. I didn't read too much into that.
Spores was in Ravnica, and they did change something about it, and it's actually a pretty good, decent change. So your Halo of Spores ability, you use your reaction to do damage, basically. It used to be poison damage. It's changed to necrotic damage now, which actually gets around a lot of resistances. Like
But
a
you
lot,
just flat out can't use it on the undead.
which you can't use poison on the undead either. I'm pretty sure.
Never mind.
So it's a moot point. So necrotic is a lot better than poison.
Okay.
I just like that a lot. I think everything else is the same though.
It's pretty spicy. Yeah. I mean, it didn't call out to me at all. A lot of the Ravnica stuff I think is really cool, but I don't enjoy.
I love the art there though, with like the zombie frog with him.
Yeah, I love it.
It's great. It's so cute.
The spores and zombies, what's not to love, man?
Well, so
Golgari gang.
I don't know how I feel about fungal body though. The feature that you get, you can't be blinded, deafened, frightened, or poisoned, and crits don't work on you unless you're incapacitated.
Yeah, that's 14th
That's
level.
Yeah, but that's like
crits not working on you is so good.
Yeah.
it is good, but I always prefer to have active abilities for my 14th. I hate getting passives. It's just like I don't know. It's inarguably good.
I mean, the druid itself still gets stuff past this. This is just your subclass.
Yeah, subclasses are everything, man.
Well,
They're
So-
everything.
So remember how we said you're immune to what? It was one of the first classes. You're immune to poison, like the poison condition.
Mhm.
This is just you're basically immune to blinded, deafened, frightened, poisoned.
huge.
Yeah,
And also you can't be crit.
Especially because high level D&D, there's a lot of AoE stuff.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think that is very good for 14th level. You're
Max
immune to
just
like
hating.
half of the conditions.
I am just hating. I do what I want. So something that they did here is that they completely removed Starflare, which was this like interesting explosion that you could do before. Within 120 feet, you could immediately teleport a willing creature. Blah blah blah. Like there's a bunch
And
of stuff.
spores?
They were.
No, he's talking about
Oh.
stars.
I'm stupid.
Like, that doesn't
Well, go
sound
ahead,
like
keep
something
going.
this guy would be doing.
It's because I didn't cover the ones
Well,
that weren't there. You
Then
can
let's go to Circle of Stars then.
go to Circle of
Hey.
Stars.
And I do play Circle Stars Druid in the campaign though. I play
love
from the UA, yeah. I love the changes. Circle of Stars is very strong.
It's
a very strong because it's strong in the way that you get free guidance as a cantrip, which is one of the best cantrips. You get free guiding bolt, which guiding bolt is a great spell by itself. Sure, you don't get like a spell list, but whatever. The starry form stuff, I don't think anything changed with the starry form. Like the archer, the chalice, and the dragon, I think those all stay the same.
Yeah, they kept them the same.
Yeah.
Well,
And
they
now-
actually. Yeah, they're all the same.
What about Wheel and Woe? Did they change that at
Wheel
all?
and-
They only changed it from wisdom modifier to proficiency bonus.
Okay, yeah.
Every time I see
sense.
Wheel and Woe just written in D&D, I get painful D&D flashbacks of my players do have like cleric, doing like augury spell or something. I have to come up.
Yep.
if
A
this
lot of
next
these
thing's gonna be
classes
Wheel or Woe.
gave them augury. This class gets that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This I love it. I love this class. I do like the Twinkling Constellations. I don't know if this was in UA or not.
Well, it's not. It's new.
Yeah, so you do an extra D8 with your archer and the chalice one, so you do an extra D8 of damage or an extra D8 of healing. or with a dragon, you can just fly 20 feet. And at the start of each turns, you can change what constellation that you're inhibiting, which I think is huge.
Yeah.
Like if you choose dragon and because you're concentrating on spells, and then you lose that concentration, or I can't use my dragon anymore. You can just change it into like archer or chalice.
Yeah.
I think it's a very strong subclass. So you summon you summon a creature, put on dragon. You use your wild shape to do find familiar, and you do archer, so you can like bonus action like throw lightning.
I made a druid class. It'd probably be this one.
Yeah, it's also very flavorful.
Yeah,
yes,
I really love what they did with it. Definitely.
Braxton, what do you think of the 14th level spell or thing?
Yeah,
you like it?
Yes and no. So, whenever you are in your starry form, you become incorporeal, giving you resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing.
Strong.
So that is coming from Starflare. Your connection to the cosmos allows you to conjure brilliant starlight as an action. You can conjure a burst of light in a 30-foot radius, centered on the point where you can see within 120 feet with you. Immediately teleport each willing creature in the sphere to an unoccupied space within 30 feet of it. And then a bunch of 40-10 damage happens. It's just like they yeeted that off and then just went.
They probably thought it was a little too strong for 14th level.
It was a little too strong. But like they didn't give an analog for it. But druid subclasses don't get past 14th level features.
And this it doesn't even say non-magical bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing damage. It's just
period.
Your resistance to all bludgeoning, piercing,
which
slashing,
is the majority of damage in D&D, I would say.
I would argue that this one's better than the previous subclass because you just basically have a lot of damage.
Definitely,
for sure. Circle of Wired Fire. Wired Fire. Welcome.
I have no idea why this doesn't have Fireball.
Yeah.
It did in UA. Correct me if I'm wrong, Braxton.
Let's take a look. It does not have Fireball anymore. It did in UA. It also had locate plants or animals and raise dead.
I thought the whole point, not the whole point, but the biggest selling point of this class was to give Fireball to a druid.
Yeah.
the flaming spear, the guy she says not to worry about, Fireball.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that, man.
I think if maybe the reasoning is that like if they gave them Fireball, that's all they would be doing would just be using Fireball.
That's what my sorcerer does.
I don't know anything about that. Sometimes on accident. They also gave a Revivify. Did not have that in UA.
And there's some more summoning in here, continuing the trend.
Pizzazz. Sprinkle it over there. Get him on the floor. Get some more damage. I liked this one though. That was fun. I think the Wildfire Spear is really cool flavor. I think it does some really cool stuff, and it's got a lot of awesome scaling to me. I really enjoyed that.
Mask your wounds.
Yeah, hell yeah. But before for the summon wildfires, why can't I not say that word? Wildfire. They reduced the damage that you get to take whenever your thing spawns from 2d10 to 2d6. So they nerfed that a good bit, but they allowed it to scale more. They allowed you to have some of the abilities that the Wildfire Spirit has scale with your attack modifier, changed it to 60 feet for range, and also allows you to add your proficiency bonus and fire damage, which is cool. So they made it a little bit stronger, gave it some more stuff. And they changed some names of things, like Flames of Life is now Cauterizing Flames. You can no longer do things to creatures you see when it touches these flames, but it's whenever they enter it. And it does a bit of different damage rather than having an ability or effect on it for 1 minute. But moving to Blazing Revival, that used to be Blazing Endurance. And previously it was 5 times your druid level. Choice within 30 feet of you. You could see it takes fire damage equal to 2d10 plus your druid level itself. But now it's whenever you spawn your spirit, if the spirit's in 120 feet of you, when you're reduced to 0 hit points, it falls unconscious, and then you raise your health back up. It's a bit weird.
It's interesting because I feel like, I guess it's not always like the monsters aren't always going to be focused on the spirit. I feel like the spirit would probably die before you would.
Yeah, I don't know. The Flames of Life thing specifically is weird to me that they changed it when they did in Blazing Revival being altered the way it was. I don't like the changes they made, but I think it was probably a bit too strong before.
Right.
I guess.
I do like the enhanced bond though. Because it's just whenever you cast a healing or a spell that deals fire damage, you just roll a d8 and add that to it. You're already going to be doing that anyways, so a little bit extra damage and healing is always good.
Yeah. Okay. And at that point, I want to make a statement and say that we are currently recording this. We've gone through a lot of stuff. Some critical failures have happened. We've rolled some nat ones. We're at an hour and 16 or so in our current recording. However long this is right now, we're going to put this into 2 parts because we're not even halfway through and the video didn't record. And I am crying, but I am so upset that we didn't get to Warlocks yet.
Yeah, we got a lot still to go.
I have to hold that information in me for another week. I'm going to die. But hey.
Yeah, Braxton was trying to talk to me about the Warlock stuff. I was streaming the other day. He was trying to talk to me about it, and I had to hold back.
Stop it! And Kenneth's like,
I got some opinions on it, but I gotta wait.
I'll be your sponge. Talk to me.
Yeah, Kenneth will be here again next week, and we'll have the video up. Hopefully, if no complications happen. I think also look out next week for maybe a poll we might ask at the end of all of Tasha's asking you about what your favorite subclasses were, because we want to see how many of you would like to interact in that way and just see what your thoughts are as well. But as usual, if you want to talk to us,
vote for the Twilight Domain.
Don't vote for the Warlocks. I'm going to put in put your own field in, and you can write Warlocks do indeed suck. Braxton was right. But I still play him. It's a love-hate relationship.
I can't defend it yet because we're not there.
Okay, I know exactly what you're going to say about the genie. I know exactly what you're saying, and I agree with you.
He knows what he agrees with me. He doesn't know what I'm saying.
If you like the Fathomless, I'm going to literally.
Well, I got other stuff to say about Warlocks. Period.
All right. Okay. But if you say you like the Fathomless, I will quit this podcast.
All right. We'll have to wait till next week to find out if the dungeon crawl still exists after.
Oh boy.
What could we expect from next week?
Next week we're gonna start off with the
Fighter.
We just finished the Druid, so yes, Fighter, which Psy Warriors
should be able to finish everything.
They got some cool mechanics for the Psy guys in this stuff that they brought in that made them really cool. So look forward to that. Kenneth will also be there. I do want to
point out we were straight on the money for what we thought. The speculation for that fighter, the Battle Master option stuff at the end, exactly WotC giving you builds to make.
Oh yeah, cool stuff.
I have some thoughts on those.
Mm-hmm, me too.
So we're just blue balling ourselves here. So if you want to tell us your thoughts.
It's hyping everybody up for next week.
Let's go. Next week, Tasha's going to be old news. We're slow, man.
What's going to happen by next week? What else are people moving on to, huh?
People are going to have turkey in their bellies, and they're going to be taking naps, and they're going to be sleepy. If you're from the U.S., you're going to...
They're all making new characters next week.
That's
true. All these subclasses.
So, hold off. I hope you guys enjoyed our thoughts here. It's a lot of information to go through, and I think all of us are probably thinking, like, holy heck, we weren't expecting it to be this overwhelming while doing it itself. I know I was. But thanks for joining. If you have an opinion on what we said and it differs or you just want to chat with us about it, you can find us on Twitter at Dungeon Crawl Pod. Is that it? Is that the one? Yep. Okay, cool. And if you want to email us something a bit longer, send us a fan letter if you want. It's thedungeoncrawlpod@gmail.com. It's also a pretty good way to give us feedback that we mentioned. Yeah, what is that?
Well, if you want to go to Apple Podcasts, find the Dungeon Crawl. Maybe you already listened to us on that platform. I want you to hit the 5-star option and go down to review and just fall asleep on your keyboard. Whatever comes out is what your review is, and you hit post. I don't care what it is. I want to decipher it and figure it out. It really helps out the podcast, pushes up a little bit higher.
Type it in wingding. Put your wingdings on, and then type a fun thing there.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Wingdings.
It really puts us higher up in the algorithm, the way Apple works. So
yeah,
we would really appreciate it.
With this episode, it kind of marked a point in where like all of us kind of put a bit more effort into things. So hopefully you enjoy the content that we're doing, or at least me.
Yeah, hopefully you love the video that is releasing with this podcast.
We should just record the video again with us just going, just like lip flapping like anime. Yeah. Just make a dub. Let's hire other people to dub or do the actors reverse dubbing. Yeah,
makes sense.
So welcome. We did a bunch of silly things where we pointed at each other, and you're not going to see it at all, but we'll pretend. And again, as always, this has been the Dungeon Crawl. He's Ryan.
He's Braxton. And that's
Kenneth over there. Thanks for joining today. He's a pizza man. See you guys next week, where we will finish Tasha stuff. We'll look more into the Cauldron. We can only eat half of it. There's a little bit leftovers. We'll pull it out of the fridge next week.
My tummy's full.
Tummy is full.